Abaye Hirut.
I know her from history even. Hakim Mauritania was her ancestral family. Her families were the founders of this country, especially modern Ethiopian founders. She told me that their previous house was around Adwa building. Now the police station is using that. We have to have something to put.
I'm Sagas, I'm a senior executive. Recently I saw a small short
because I'm not important today, and the theme is my mother. How do we remember important people? I'm going to share with you my wisdom. Person who knows nothing. Wisdom of somebody who knows nothing. Important people are important because they've done important things. We cannot forget though that they are regular, simple people like the rest of us. And whatever they have done, the history books will remember them. What I think I want you to remember when you try to remember somebody who's important is the simple things, the anecdotes. I think if you somehow find out a person that you admire, somebody that you think has done something important, if you can remember something.
Different things that I still do. One of them is a friend I lost when I was in elementary school. He passed away when we were grade 5. So one of the things that I asked my mom to do was to add his initial in my name. So no one knows why my name has an extra E, where it doesn't have to be there, but that's one of the things. The second one, 8 years ago.
topic that she mentioned so that everybody knows. I use this example time and again. I love, Timber. Even today we have so many versions. In one of the sessions, the topic was, what does a holiday mean to you? Everyone's comment, some of us will say, okay, eating with family, spending time, having rest, and so on and so forth. When her turn comes, she said, as long as I wake up every morning and say my morning prayers every day. It was so profound. I waited until the break to ask her, what does it mean? What you said. And she told me a very profound story about her husband. She told me, they met when very, very young. They grew up together. They were very close friends. And she told me they normally talk about 2 hours every night. She was in Liberia and he was in Alice. So they talked like usual. Agree with us. For us, for me, it's a very extraordinary. She makes us feel equal wherever we go. Even if she has all the experience, age, what have you, but when you sit down with her, you feel like you are talking to your colleague. That's exactly what really she left us with. So I would like all of you to please rise. And I would like to pause for being grateful for Madam.
informal, which is I talk on table topics, not on team topics. You see, she encouraged me because of my background of remote area, how to align with these cosmopolitan or educated urban people.
Toastmaster member. She also used to be the president of Nile Toastmasters. So we have Toastmaster Igabasha al-Mukra. We're not going to skip the Toastmaster title of your name. So we have Toastmaster Igabasha al-Mukra. So please help me welcome her to the stage.
By the way, it has been a long time. I once used to be a CC.
Correction. CC Toastmaster Igabasha al-Mukra.
I came across something and I want to share. A remarkable life leaves cherished memories. A remarkable soul leaves a lasting legacy. I met Madam Hirut probably more than 10 years ago when I came to Nile Toastmasters. I didn't realize she was a Rotarian by then, even though I was a contractor. I saw her, all her gray hair, all afro. That's the first impression, in her smile. She's just a remarkable lady. Her energy, her full of life, her excitement. So whenever, as a youngster, by then I was a fresh graduate from university, and I used to think like being an elderly was a frightening thing. But ever since I've known her, I was looking forward to become an elderly person, honestly. Her energy, her vibe, even the kind of jokes she used to make was way better than the ones that we used to make. I'm telling you, she's just full of life. The wisdom that she shares with us. I remember the time she told us, as a child, while she was growing up, she used to be friends with Kofi Annan. I don't know if you remember him. He used to be the UN Secretary General. They grew up together. She was a UN diplomat family. She worked as a Rotarian. She was also in Toastmasters, one of the founding members. So Madam Hirut has been a true mother figure for me, a friend. I remember by then, when I asked her how old she was, she tells me, I'm 70. And then the group of Toastmasters people used to take her out for a party. And she'd go like, yes! She was just full of life. And then I will not forget the time I invited her for my wedding and she was there. So with the seating arrangement, she happened to sit next to our priest, and everybody else was sitting elsewhere. And then after dinner was served, everybody went out for a party, for dancing. And then all the tables were blank. And then she turned to the priest. This is what she told me, by the way. And then she told me, Father, I think it's just you and me remaining. What do you think we do? She's truly an energetic person. I'm truly blessed to have known her and our paths are close. The last time I saw her was at the Nile church. She was with family. And I'm so happy I got to see her because it's been ages since I last saw her. So, a remarkable life leaves cherished memories. A remarkable soul leaves a lasting legacy.
Madam Hirut. So I met Madam Hirut for the first time at Toastmasters, at my first event at Toastmasters. Then our friendship grew at a first Rotary meeting, at a Rotary lunch meeting where I felt out of place because there were lots of senior Rotaries and I was the only Rotaract there. And I sat next to her because that was the only face I knew. So she made me feel at home, she made me feel confident, we ate lunch. Then our friendship grew, we exchanged numbers and everything, and that's how we became friends. So, Madam Hirut, she lights up the room, like everybody knows. Like every room she walks in, she lights up the room. She's always making you feel important, like you matter, just because you're a human being, and just because you are there, alive. She makes you feel important, and she makes you feel loved. And she literally knows how to enjoy life and have fun. Because every time I'm around her, it's like we're always laughing. It was just, I don't know, like I don't even have words sometimes, how to express her. It was an amazing joy to have her around in my life. So it was an honor to know her, and it was an honor to have her in my life. And it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Good job.
It was actually exactly 14 years ago. I joined Toastmasters in July, and I went to the Nile Toastmasters sometime in August. The self-proclaimed president, executioner, father of the club was CC Sayers. That session, we only were 6 in the room. And Abaye was there. She was the AHA counter, the grammarian, and the police for the wrongdoers. And I remember her last evaluation. She said, "Why are you leaning so much on R-O-N? Let it go." That day brought beautiful friendship. Before that, there was one TED talk I saw, and I tried to see how I could relate it to my personal life. It was by Ty Lopez, and he says the 33% rule. In that TED talk, he talks about divide the people in your life into 3 groups. The first 33% should be people who are older than you, people who have walked life more than you, and who have more experience than you. The second 33% should be people in your age range, in your compass, where you can cross-check whatever you do, so that you can have that healthy, envious kind of relationship. And the last 33 should be the kind of people who you could give back to, mentor, coach. My interaction with Abaye brought that 33%. I'm not sure how it was for her, but she was my 33%. She was that person that I could look up to. She was that person when I started my journey in Toastmasters that I talked to, what is the highest that I could be in Toastmasters? And she said, affordable. And the moment she said that, I knew I'm not going to be there. Every time she comes to the Toastmaster station, she says, what did you do about those schools? Where are you now? And every milestone I achieve, I give her a call and say, just did my CC. I just finished my ACB. And the first person I called when I got the confirmation for my BPA was Abaye. And I could see it in her eyes, through her words, how happy she was. She was that kind of person who cheers you up. She is also that kind of person who pins you in the right moments. You might think at age 85, she is old, right? She is not. Abaye was active on Facebook. You post something, she comments. I shared a picture with my parents, with my kid. She's the first to comment. When I got married, I wrote, I posted a picture and said, "Man down." She picked up the phone. A woman doesn't put you down; she lifts you up. That's what it is. That's the kind of conversation that I truly remiss in her absence. But one of the things that makes me happy is we have people like her in all of us. People who are aspiring, trying to better themselves. Every one of us have the Abaye as Danny's mentality. In your stride to be a better person. One of the things that we used to have with Abaye was every other Tuesday, I give her a phone. I will say, I just wanted to say hi. And after a certain period of time, it became so routine, so common. She said, no, you didn't just call to say hi. You called to check on me because I'm getting old. And that's one of the things that she used to say, I'm staying home alone. I need to go out. And I brought her to one of the Toastmasters. She insisted to come and see us. Even at that age, the fire in her to give, to share, to smile, and to be with young people never failed. Yes, she said, I'm tired and retired, but not from being with people, but not from sharing what she had. She was tired, of course, of working a full-time job, but she was always on fire in supporting others. And I truly hope, every one of us will have that energy. There is one thing, however, I regret that I couldn't master to the end of it. On our last conversation, we had an agreement that she should be writing a book. And she said, I have nothing to write about. And we say, no, there is a lot that we share. So I linked her up with a shadow writer so that they could pick it up, have a conversation, interview her, and develop the manuscript. Right after that, she had to travel to the US. And when she came back, we couldn't pick it up because a lot of things were happening, and I assumed I had time. If we persisted a little bit further, we would have had at least a manuscript that we could finalize well. But her book is now before us. The experiences, the memories, and for those of you who don't even know her, I'm sure you wonder a lot about it. We all have Abaye in our families. People that needs to be celebrated. The one thing that Abaye always says is celebrate people. Let's do that to our family members. Right after that, when I knew she passed away, you know what I did? I called my uncle. He is 83 now. He is one of the first persons who set up the ICU at the Black Lion Hospital. And I said, now I don't have time to take a sick back. I'm nudging him every day. Now he's halfway through. Just a few weeks. And who knows, in a very couple of months, something will through. So what I'm insisting to all of you is reach out to those people. Because that is the Abaye you have in your life.
Good job. But it's not fair, since I know my mom, and my mom. I mean, it's not fair for all of you for me to talk about my mom because my mom is the person that I spend the most time with talking. We talked, we argued, we debated, we fought, and you know how good she is with speech, you know how good she is with her charisma, and there was not one debate that I thought I won. Because at the end, whatever I said, albeit I think very legitimate and convincing, she has that smile and she has that look that makes you think that somehow you're on top of the world, and yet somehow she walks out of the room as the one who won it. And you stand there wondering. Anyways, I don't know what you guys want to know about her, because there is so much for me that I can tell you. But one thing, Toastmasters meant a lot to her because she understood the power of communication. She understood the power of, you guys call it leadership, I call it being able to relate to people. You know, some of us, fellow Esquire right there, some of us talk for a living, so it comes a bit easy. It didn't come easy for me. When I was young, I stuttered, and I thought I knew it all. But being able to practice with her and talk and watch her just maneuver and work a room and work people and then give speeches, you go, oh. She doesn't say anything extraordinary, but she says simple things, but like you said, she had this ability to relate to people. From the 5-year-old to the 88, from the pauper on the street to the princes of the world. She makes them feel like somehow they're on top of the world. And that was just fascinating to me. And I hope, I picked that up, even though we all think we have certain talents. But it is just an amazing thing that she did. So, Toastmasters for her. You guys know her when she was in the 70s. I know when she did Toastmasters a long time ago when I was just a little boy. They used to hold meetings at the Hilton Hotel. And there was a time, I'll just tell you a story, which to me was fascinating. Because every single meeting she had, she comes and tells me about it. And it's one of my regrets that I did not join. But I left for college and stuff happened. There was a time where they invited, and I say this because I'm very much impressed by all of you. First of all, to speak in English. It's not your language, you don't care for it, but yet you've mastered it. That's a big deal. Second, to be able to speak when your profession is medicine and engineering, and you guys don't talk for a living, but somehow you do it very well. That's very impressive. We talk for a living. Nobody cares what we say. But you guys do it very well. So I remember her, she said, Toastmasters is a very important organization and a little club, because it teaches you not only to become comfortable with yourself, but it gives you the chance to just overcome all this nonsensical fear that we have with public speaking and relating to people. And of course, leadership is an important thing, but at the end of the day, real leadership is just being able to communicate. So, my little story. Guess who Toastmaster had as one of their guest speakers one day? And they wanted to teach him how to speak, because he wasn't well versed in this stupid foreign language that we all speak with. It was Haile Gebrselassie. Haile Gebrselassie was just this famous little kind of kid. He's much older than I am. But he was becoming famous and he was winning, but he did not know how to speak English. But he was being exposed to give interviews and to say certain things. So they brought him. He was scared and he was frightened. First of all, of course, was the language barrier. Second of all, he's looking at all these, smart, educated, accomplished people, and he felt out of place. I promise you, he spoke, he stopped, and he spoke again. By the time he left that meeting, he was speaking English better than the Queen herself. Why? Because I think what Toastmasters teaches you, and what I think she taught me, is there is a certain level of confidence that we all get by just being vulnerable and not worry about the language that we use, not worry about the syntaxes that we use. Just share yourself, be vulnerable, and try to communicate whatever is in your heart and your mind, and people are very much receptive to that. We all receive each other for what we are, not for what we pretend to be. I'm sure all of you have read all kinds of stories about how to become a great public speaker and this and that. Listen, be yourself. Don't worry about the mistakes. Like, if you're worried about losing a word, and then do this. Do this on purpose. Just stand there and I don't know what the next word is. What do I care? And then what you'll see is people who care for you will show you a certain level of support. And then pick a face, and I go, you give me confidence, and I'll continue. Just be vulnerable, be yourself, share your ideas and your thoughts and your feelings. I guarantee you, you'll be a successful speaker because people relate to you. And in terms of leadership, I remember Haile leaving that room saying to himself, I got this. I'm not just about running. You know, the sponsorship deals that's coming. And he went, it doesn't make a difference how well I speak it. If I say 3-4 words and the other person understands and he goes, I got you. Game over. So I am very much impressed by all of you, how well you speak, how well you relate, and how much you try. But there's one thing that if I could give you advice, and she gave me that advice too. Don't be afraid. I know it's an easy thing to say. Don't be scared of being yourself and screwing up your language and saying it any way you want, as long as you feel that you've communicated the idea that you wanted to communicate. And you're not going to reach everybody. It's going to be 2 people out of 10 that will agree with you. But if somehow you walk away saying, I had an idea, I don't care how smart it was, how intelligent it was, I said it, and I feel good about it. And then that's it. And the more you do it, and the more comfortable you get, of course you get better. But please don't be afraid to be yourself, to say what you say, and I guarantee you, there's a lot of Madam Hirut in here, the men included. Thank you very much for that.
It's hard to speak after so many heartfelt words were shared. I think for those of us who did not get the privilege to interact with Madam Hirut on a closer basis, it will be one of the biggest regrets. But I wanted to share something that was an observation I made in this room when Blue Nile was celebrating their 65th anniversary, and I was on a panel with Madam Hirut. And it's a fun memory. So the first question was asked to Alula, he was on the right, and then next to him was Madam Hirut. So Alula answered his question as a panelist sitting down. As soon as Madam Hirut was asked her question, she stood up and she delivered her speech. And then after her was me. And I'm like, okay, now I have to stand up and also deliver a speech. And I, being young and a Toastmaster for many years, should not feel any nervousness to stand and speak in front of people. That's basically why we're here. But in that moment, I felt a bit of hesitation. And now that I think back on it, Madam Hirut was a bold, outspoken, brave woman at a time where being a bold and outspoken woman was frowned upon. She was probably harassed, probably ostracized for being that woman. Yet she was that woman and continues to be up until this stage, 85 years later. And me, being in an environment where women are actually encouraged to speak up and speak their mind, still feel, that twinge of nervousness and holding back, which makes Madam Hirut a more of an exceptional woman, even of this time. And we can only imagine what an exceptional woman she was of her time back then. The example that she set, unfortunately, I feel like we should have had more of it. We should have seen and experienced more of it. But in the sliver of the moments that we shared with her, I think she left a really lasting impression. And I hope that all the women in this room, just like I'm feeling in this moment right now, if she can manage to be bold and brave in that time, Ladies, we got this. We can be bold and brave and outspoken in our time. And I really want to thank her son for being with us this evening. You're really honoring us by your presence, and I hope you truly feel the love and appreciation that we had for your exceptional mother. Thank you for being here with us.
I just wanted to add an important point for those of you who regret not knowing Madam Hirut or Abaye. That's an exact copy of a male version of her. So enjoy your moments.
Now when DTM Ethiopians talk about Madam Hirut, I remember I was at the 65th anniversary and I was the first impression when I see her at the podium. Oh my God. So if she is doing it, being a Toastmaster member up to this age, then I will follow her.
On the 65th anniversary, where she was about to cut a cake, but Dr. Abdullah Pak was right by her side, and she was holding the cake knife like a machete. I don't know if you remember that picture, but it was my absolute favorite picture. She had such a grin on her face, and Dr. Abdullah was being such a man of his age. But Madam Hirut had such a wonderful, and I thought the word of the day actually described her very well. She had such a grandiloquent manner in which she was holding the knife, and that was my absolute favorite memory of her and picture of her. Some people measure success by titles, others by achievements, but very few are remembered because they change people. Abaye Hirut belonged to that rare group. She reminded us that leadership was service, that communication was responsibility, and that influence comes from character, and that a gentle voice can shape history. May each of us leave tonight remembering her for the gentle, kind, and wonderful soul that she was. Before I leave the stage, I would like to ask everyone to please rise up and devote 1 minute of silence in her honor.
I'll say it in English because it's the language of the trade. It's just so many fascinating faces that I see. There are so many talent and so many potential. But from the heart, don't stop this. This is so important because you have no idea how many people you influence and you just give them that little push. One person moves a mountain. There's a lot of people here who can change the world. I guarantee you that. You're doing, when good people, talented people come together with good intentions, a lot of magic happens. Now, and I regret this, that I haven't done it all my life. So I gotta get you, not you. Don't stop this. Do whatever you have to. Meet, even if it's like 4 people, don't worry. Somebody gets inspired and somebody changes. They change forever and they change all of us. You, Aizo. Until you're the special. I guarantee you there's a lot of special in you. I saw. Don't worry about anything else. I guarantee you when you and I meet again in 10 years, believe me, keep going.
And back to you, Madam President.
What a wonderful evening. Thank you, Toastmaster Ragit, for this memorable session. You led it so well. I mean, just gonna need time.